Hello student, good afternoon. To continue this topic, that is parasitism and parasitic adaptations. Next article is the physiological adaptations. Physiological adaptations. Protective mechanism in the alimentary canal of the host parasites protects itself from the action of digestive juices of the host. The tapeworms accomplish this by simultaneously stimulating the walls of the gut to secrete mucus, which then forms a protective clothing around the parasites. By secreting anti-enzymes to neutralize the digestive enzymes of the host, and by probably continually renewing their protective body covering, that is the tegument, lime cell in the body wall of tapeworms neutralize the acid produced by the host. Blood parasites are known to be withstand the effect of antibodies and phagocytes of blood by some mechanism. Next is osmoregulation. Which type of osmoregulation in the parasite's life? The osmotic pressure of body fluid of endoparasites, especially in case of trematodes, is almost the same as that of the host, so that there is no necessity of osmoregulation, but in the intestinal tapeworms the osmotic pressure is slightly higher than that of surrounding medium. This permits absorption of nourishment from their general body surface from the surrounding medium. Anaerobiosis. The pH tolerance of the parasites is high, from 4 to 11. The intestinal parasites lives in an environment completely devoid of oxygen. The respiration is of the anaerobic type, consisting of extracting oxygen from the food stuff. In the absence of oxygen, energy is obtained by the fermentation of glycogen, which is broken into lactic acid. Next is periodic appearance. There are some parasites which appears at definite period. The larvae of Wuchereria bankrupti circulate into the peripheral blood circulation in the night between 10 pm to 4 am. For further development, they require Culex mosquitoes The Culex bites a man at night, that is nocturnal in habit. Their migration is correlated with the nocturnal habits of Culex. Neoteny. It is a special phenomenon in which the larvae are capable of reproduction and they produce young ones. Ligula cystoda exhibits neoteny, and this can be considered an adaptation for the parasitic mode of life. High fertility. Parasites develops enormous fertility, producing millions of fertile eggs. This is correlated with the passive transference of the infective stages of the parasites from one host into another. While passing through the complex life cycle, these potential offsprings face several hazards, as a result of which is very small percentage of the total eggs produced reaches adulthood. For example, in Fasciola, if the eggs fall in water, the first larva, Myriacidium, finds a suitable snail within a limited period. The Cercaria insist on vegetation within the reach of final host, and if the Metacercaria happens to be ingested by the proper final host, only then the life cycle is completed, not only the larval stages themselves multiply. Say for example, the sporocyst produces a number of radii. A single radii produces a number of cercaria number of cercaria larvae. Similarly, a single hexacanth may be multiply generating buds which produces daughter and granddaughter squalices, hedatids of Echinococcus granulosus. This is the cystod parasites, and this Myriacidium, sporocyst, radia, cercaria, metacercaria, all these larval stages found in the trematode parasites. Transference of eggs of infective stages. Transference of eggs or infective stages. How to transfer the eggs or larvae in the body of host? This is another major problem for which the parasites have to develop adaptation. Transference from one host to another is either active transfer. This is a less common method. The infective stages are actively transferred to final host. The larval stages of most parasites bore directly through the skin of their host, such as the larvae of hookworms and schistosomes, or passive transpose. This is the most common method and usually result from the careless habits. careless habits of the host and is achieved in the several ways, such as contamination, contagion, and inoculation. Oral infection occurs when the host taken uncooked food or contaminated water. The intermediate hosts such as mosquitoes inoculate parasites when they suck the blood of host. Effect of parasitism on the host. Effect of parasitism on the host. Which type of effect affecting on the body of host? Although a given host may immune to a parasite by virtue of being constitutionally unstable as a habitat, it is important to recognize that the establishment of a parasite in host also involves the capacity of the parasite to resist reactions of the host that might be deleterious. These host reactions would include inflammatory tissues response and immune response of humoral characters. Both types of host reactions occurs in most parasitism involving characters. The immune system in higher vertebrates is composed of several tissue components. These included fixed cells of spleen, liver, lymph nodes, and thymus. There is also a system of mobile phagocytic cells originated mainly in the bone's marrow, including the heterophils and the eosinophils, leukocytes. In addition, these are number of potential macrophages cells in the body such as undifferentiated mesenchyme cells. Some of cells has the ability to elaborate antibodies which may be released from the cells into the body fluid. The antibodies may combine with parasitic organism or their produces inhibitory effects. A peculiar type of immunity develops in man due to the presence of the tapeworms after the first infection. No further infection is possible as long as the primary infection lasts. This is the term premonition. The possible role of interference in the immunity of host of animals parasites should be also mentioned. These substances are produced in response to the presence of a foreign agent. Unlike antibodies, they seem to render host cells as habitations for intracellular parasites. There are other types of host response that cannot be clearly recognized as immune in characters. For example, the changes in the fatty acids found in the alimentary canal of animals infected with the tapeworms, amnolipis, or the marked modifications of the amino acids. Composition of bile in sheep harboring Fasciola hepatica are obviously host response to the presence of parasites concerned. It would be a great interest to determine whether such response are beneficial to the parasites, to the host, or to the neither. This is the effect of parasitism on the host. Okay, thank you.